Welcome, traveler of sound, to a place where the horizon melts into endless blue. The sea has always called to us, soft and eternal, whispering its ancient hymns. Every wave carries a story, carved by winds, sung by gulls, and remembered by the deep. Beneath the surface lies a silence unlike any other, vast, patient, and eternal. It is not emptiness, but fullness, filled with secrets too gentle to shout, too profound to fade. In that silence, myths were born. Stories of Poseidon, ruler of depths, guardian of mysteries. He does not roar in anger here, but waits, calm and watchful, like a father of tides. The ocean does not demand, it invites, drawing us into a realm beyond time. You will not hear footsteps, only currents shifting like whispers in a cathedral of water. Light bends, colors soften, and the air you knew transforms into liquid twilight. Each descent is a passage, each ripple a threshold between what is known and forgotten. Close your eyes and listen, for the ocean speaks not with words, but with silence. Here, in the stillness, the journey begins, into the silent depths of Poseidon. The call of the sea is older than memory, older than the words we use to name it. It hums beneath the wind, steady and patient, a rhythm that never breaks. Stand on the shore, and you will feel it before you hear it, a pulse in the air. The horizon stretches wide, untamed, always just out of reach, a silent invitation. Every tide speaks a language of return, leaving and coming back, a lesson in cycles. It is not loud, not demanding, but insistent in its presence, like a heartbeat. Long before ships carved paths, the ocean was already a story written in blue. Ancient travelers looked at it and saw mystery, power, and eternity. They gave it names. They gave it gods. They gave it Poseidon, keeper of silence. But beyond the myths is the truth that the sea itself is the oldest voice. Its call is not a roar. It is a whisper carried through salt and foam. It tells us of beginnings, when land and life rose from its endless cradle. It tells us of journeys, both taken and dreamed, both lost and remembered. To hear the sea is to feel its depth in your bones, a sound without sound. Fishermen once listened before setting sail, trusting the waves more than maps. The call of the sea guided them, warned them, embraced them like a friend. Even those who feared it could not deny its pull, soft yet unyielding. Children on distant islands learned its rhythm before learning their own names. They listened to shells, to tides, to gulls circling like messengers of the deep. For them, the sea was not a stranger, but a teacher, always speaking. Stories were born from that call, shaped into songs sung by firelight. They spoke of horizons that never end, of depths that never reveal all. Sailors carried these stories with them, folded into prayer, bound into hope. And when silence fell, it was the ocean that filled the gap with whispers. The call is not always gentle. Sometimes it comes with storms. But even then, it is not anger, only reminder, only voice raised in truth. The sea calls us back to humility, back to listening, back to awe. When you stand at dusk, waves brushing against your feet, you hear it. The sound is more than foam. It is memory pressing against the shore. You may not know the words, but you feel the meaning behind them. The call asks you to pause, to see that time itself ebbs and flows. It asks you to understand that silence can carry more than noise. Poseidon's realm is not a kingdom of violence, but of echoes. The depths answer without speaking, telling of balance and stillness. Each ripple on the surface is a reminder that nothing is truly still. Every whisper of wind over water is an ancient hymn renewed. The call of the sea is different for each listener. For some, it is home. For others, it is mystery. For many, it is longing. It is the longing for a horizon always beyond reach. It is the longing for a silence that holds instead of empties. And in that longing, the journey begins, not on maps, but within the heart. The call does not fade when you turn away. It waits, patient and eternal. It follows you inland, in the sound of rain, in the hush of rivers. It lingers in dreams, where the tide rises gently and pulls you back. No one escapes it, for the sea is part of us, written into our breath. Salt runs in our veins, tides move in rhythm with our pulse. The call of the sea is not separate from us. It is us, waiting to be heard. To answer that call is to return to the beginning, to listen again. It is to step forward without fear, knowing the horizon is endless. And as we listen now, together, we begin not with silence, but with the sea. The horizon's edge is a promise, a line where the sea and sky seem to meet in quiet unity. It shifts with every step, always ahead, never within reach, forever drawing us forward. Travelers through ages have stood at this line, watching the sun fall or rise beyond it. They saw in it not just distance, but destiny, a path that stretched past human knowing. The horizon is more than a boundary. It is a mirror of longing, reflecting dreams unspoken. Stand upon a deck, and you will see it sway, blending water and sky into one canvas. Clouds drift like sails above, while waves below mimic their motion in gentle rhythm. Between them lies the edge, faint yet powerful, calling those who dare to listen. The horizon hides secrets, not in malice, but in kindness, keeping mystery alive. It reminds us that the world is wider than sight, greater than the span of our maps. Every voyage begins at the horizon, in the mind first, then in the body. The sailors of old gazed at it, feeling both fear and hope bound together. For them, the edge of the sea was the edge of themselves, the limit of what was known. Yet limits bend when one chooses to step forward, guided by trust in the unseen. Children on shores play games of chasing the horizon, laughing as it runs ahead. They do not know they rehearse the ancient longing of humanity itself. The edge is patient. It never retreats. It simply waits beyond reach. Like a gentle guardian, it teaches that some truths can only be approached, not seized. When the sun sinks low, the horizon glows with fire, a silent hymn of ending. When dawn breaks, it softens, opening like a book, whispering of beginnings. It is the keeper of transitions, the seam between day and night, here and there. To watch the horizon is to understand that time itself flows like water. It rolls forward, carrying us whether or not we choose to sail. On calm evenings, the horizon seems to vanish. Sea and sky, one endless fabric. In that stillness, Poseidon's realm feels infinite, unbroken, without measure. It is in such moments that hearts open, sensing the vastness without fear. The horizon is not a wall, but a threshold, a door we never stop walking toward. Each step, each wave, each gust of wind is part of the passage. Stories tell of sailors who chased the edge, never to return, yet never lost. For the horizon is not an ending place, but a place of transformation. It changes those who seek it, whether they find it or not. The edge of the world lives not only at sea, but in every human soul. It is in the artist who paints what cannot be seen. It is in the dreamer who believes what cannot yet be proven. It is in the wanderer who sets sail, guided only by trust in the unseen. The horizon is not cruel. It does not mock us with distance. Instead, it teaches patience, reminding us that beauty lives in the pursuit. even when we cannot reach it. We are shaped by the journey toward it. The horizon at night is stitched with stars, a map older than any chart. Mariners once followed those lights, steering not toward land, but toward trust. The sea beneath, the sky above, and the edge between carried them safely on. The horizon is both compass and companion, always present, always ahead. To walk with it is to walk with eternity, knowing it will never abandon you. In its silence, it holds the wisdom of endless beginnings. It tells us that discovery is not about arrival, but about the path itself. The edge of the sea is the edge of our imagination, limitless, eternal. When you stand before it, you are both small and infinite, both seeker and found. And as the horizon waits, so too does the ocean, calm and eternal. Together they invite you forward, into the quiet depths of Poseidon's realm. The descent into blue begins the moment you leave the surface behind, stepping into a gentler world. Light bends as it touches the water, scattering into diamonds before sinking into shadows. At first, everything is bright, shimmering, playful, a dance of silver and turquoise. Fish flicker like sparks of living light, weaving in and out of coral towers. The sea greets you softly, not with sound, but with a hush deeper than silence. Breath slows, thoughts ease, and the vastness of blue wraps itself around you. With every movement downward, the world grows quieter, calmer, more secretive. The sun's warmth lingers above, but here it softens into cool whispers of color. Blue deepens into indigo, and the shapes of the surface fade into dream. The descent is not a fall. It is a journey, gentle and measured, like drifting in sleep. Each ripple, each bubble, is a reminder of the space between here and there. The water holds you as though you are part of it, no longer guest, but kin. Schools of fish shimmer like living ribbons, bending as one, flowing like thought. They seem to know the rhythm of the deep, a music you cannot hear but feel. Every glance reveals another world. Gardens of coral, arches of stone, valleys of sand. It is a landscape of silence, yet alive, filled with motion and color. Even shadows hold beauty, soft shapes moving with grace in the filtered light. A turtle glides past, ancient and serene, carrying centuries in its slow rhythm. Its eyes meet yours, and for a moment, time feels endless, unbroken. Deeper still, the voices of the surface vanish, leaving only the pulse of your heart. The ocean does not rush you. It invites you gently further into its embrace. Each layer is a passage, each shade of blue a new threshold to cross. Above, the world of air feels distant, a fading memory of another life. Here there is no hurry, no noise, only the weightless drift of being. Tiny bubbles spiral upward, carrying fragments of your breath to the sun. You watch them rise, delicate messengers, until they vanish into brightness. Meanwhile, the deep calls downward, where mystery grows thicker, calmer. The indigo folds into navy, and then into a quiet so profound it hums. Shapes blur, outlines soften, and light becomes a memory painted on water. It is not darkness, but stillness, a vast canvas of waiting silence. Creatures appear, glowing softly, lanterns of the sea born to guide the way. Their light flickers like stars in a night that has no sky. You realize the descent is like walking into the cosmos, but beneath instead of above. The ocean is its own universe, infinite and uncharted, vast beyond measure. Poseidon's presence lingers here, not as thunder, but as calm authority. It is as if the sea itself breathes, each current a slow exhale of eternity. You float through caverns of blue, arches formed not by stone, but by light itself. The descent shows you that silence is not empty, but full of presence. Every drop of water is alive, carrying echoes of rivers, storms, and time itself. The sea remembers everything, and as you drift, you become part of its memory. The descent is not about reaching the bottom. It is about being held mid-journey. Neither above nor below, you are suspended between what was and what will be. It is a threshold space, a place of transformation and quiet awakening. Even as you move deeper, there is no fear, only wonder, only stillness. The surface is far away now, a faint shimmer like a dream nearly forgotten. Yet you do not long for it. The descent feels like returning home. The ocean welcomes you into its depth, blue upon blue, layer upon layer. The silence is no longer silence. It is a voice, soft and endless. It whispers without words, reminding you that life flows deeper than sound. And as you continue downward, you begin to see with new eyes. The descent is not an end, but a beginning, a passage into Poseidon's quiet realm. The forgotten currents move unseen, flowing like invisible rivers through the body of the sea. They drift in silence, yet their power shapes the very face of the oceans. Long before humans traced maps, the currents had already drawn their hidden paths. They carry warmth. They carry cold. They carry memory across centuries of tides. A single drop may travel farther than any ship, guided by these steady streams. The surface may seem calm, but beneath lies an orchestra of movement, endless and true. Each current is both messenger and guide, linking distant shores without being seen. They are the breath of Poseidon's realm, steady, eternal, beyond human grasp. Follow them, and you follow the rhythm of the earth itself, ancient and wise. They connect coral gardens with open seas, polar ice with tropical bays. They stitch together the fabric of oceans, binding worlds into one living body. Whales know them, drifting with ease along paths invisible to the eye. Turtles follow them faithfully, guided not by stars, but by the sea's memory. Sailors once trusted them, even when they did not understand their power. A vessel carried by current could travel farther than oars or sails alone. Legends were born from this unseen guidance. Stories of seas that carried souls home. The currents whisper of journeys older than maps, older than myths. They are the handwriting of time across the ocean's endless pages. In their flow, history is carried. Seeds, silt, and whispers of forgotten lands. Even the smallest particle drifts toward its destiny, borne by this steady motion. It is not chaos, but harmony. A silent order, deeper than sound. The sea holds no stillness. Every drop is part of a greater movement. Stand upon the shore, and you cannot see it, yet you feel its pull. The tides touch your feet, and you are connected to currents half a world away. The forgotten currents remind us that nothing is separate in the ocean. Every stream belongs to another, every wave part of a greater rhythm. It is as if the sea is one vast heart, pumping life through hidden veins. And like a heart, it never ceases, never tires, always moving. Even in the deepest trenches, the currents breathe through shadowed valleys. They touch the darkest places, carrying life where light does not reach. Bioluminescent creatures drift with them, sparks of light in the vast stillness. Seeds from distant forests ride the waves, finding new shores to grow upon. The ocean is a messenger, carrying life across boundaries unseen. It tells us that the world is connected, even when distance says otherwise. To drift with the current is to trust the unseen hand of the sea. It asks us to release control, to move with patience, not force. The currents do not fight. They yield and carry, shaping the world with gentleness. Islands are born and nourished by their gifts, coasts reshaped by their flow. In their silence lies strength. In their stillness lies movement unending. They are forgotten not because they are lost, but because they are unseen. Yet they endure, faithful, carrying life forward without recognition. Poseidon's depths hold them as secrets, revealed only to those who listen. To listen is not to hear sound, but to sense rhythm in the stillness. Close your eyes, and you can almost feel the pull beneath your skin. It is the same rhythm that moves tides, rivers, and even the blood within us. The forgotten currents remind us we too are part of this vast movement. We are not separate, but carried within the same timeless flow. Every step, every breath, every choice ripples outward, joining the current. The ocean teaches without speaking. Nothing stands still, all things move. And as you drift deeper into its embrace, you sense the truth. You are not lost, for the current remembers, guiding you always forward. The forgotten paths of water hold you gently, carrying you into Poseidon's silence. The coral cities rise like living cathedrals, built not of stone but of fragile, breathing skeletons. Each branch holds color more radiant than any painter's hand could dream to capture. Scarlet, emerald, sapphire. Hues alive with light that bends and dances beneath the waves. These are not walls of silence, but choirs, humming with the voices of countless creatures. Tiny fish flicker like sparks among the coral, vanishing and reappearing in a living rhythm. Crabs scuttle across the ridges, carrying fragments of stories from tide to tide. Anemones wave their arms gently, swaying as though in time with the ocean's hidden song. Each piece of coral is a single note, but together they form a symphony of life. The reef is both fragile and eternal, delicate yet unyielding, always growing, always renewing. Generations have built upon generations, creating a palace older than memory itself. The coral does not speak, yet it tells stories through the shapes it grows into. It records the passing of tides, the warmth of currents, the silence of storms. The reef is Poseidon's garden, tended not by hand, but by time and patience. Here, balance is everything, each creature dependent on another in quiet harmony. The parrotfish bites coral, breaking it into sand that forms the beaches we walk. The sea turtles graze the seagrass, keeping pastures alive for others to wander. The sharks circle not in hunger, but in guidance, maintaining balance without cruelty. Every creature plays its part, and the reef remembers them all in silence. To swim among the corals is to walk through a city alive with endless motion. Windows glow with the shimmer of scales, streets twist into caverns of shadow and light. Here, the walls breathe, the ground shifts, and the air is made of water. There is no stillness, only the hum of life, layered and eternal. Legends say the reefs are sacred places, where Poseidon whispers to the sea, not in storms, not in thunder, but in gentle ripples through the coral branches. To listen here is to hear the ocean's most intimate secrets. The fish darting past may carry messages older than the continents themselves. The reef does not roar like waves on a cliff. It murmurs in gentle eternity, and if you pause long enough, you can feel its patience sinking into your bones. The coral cities teach us that beauty is born of cooperation, not conquest. Each fragment alone is fragile. Together, they form a fortress against time. They remind us that strength is not loud, but quiet and persistent. That endurance is not force, but harmony carried forward through ages. The reefs cradle life, sheltering thousands of unseen hearts within their arches. At night, they glow faintly, lit by the sparks of bioluminescence. It is as if stars themselves have fallen to rest in the sea. Every flicker is a heartbeat, every shimmer a silent hymn to Poseidon. Those who enter this world carry it with them long after they return. The colors imprint themselves in memory, too vivid to fade with daylight. The rhythm of the reef lingers, reminding us of the song beneath silence. For in the coral, we see not only the ocean, but ourselves. Fragile yet resilient, small yet part of something vast and eternal. The reef tells us we are not apart from nature, but within it. It whispers that even the smallest act can shape a world of beauty. As the tides move and time flows, the coral grows, always reaching forward. Never rushing, never forcing, but always becoming something greater. The coral cities stand as living proof of patience, cooperation, and quiet strength. And as you drift away from their glow, the memory follows like a gentle echo. The sea holds many wonders, but the coral reminds us of beauty born in silence. Here, in Poseidon's depths, the ocean speaks not in thunder, but in light. And the story continues, carried in every branch, every shimmer, every wave. The whales arrive like drifting mountains, immense and graceful, their presence felt before it is seen. They move with calm certainty, their shadows stretching across the blue like living continents. Each breath rises in a plume, a silver exhale against the endless sky above the waves. Then they descend again, carrying the memory of air into the silent depths. Their voices begin as low murmurs, deep vibrations that travel farther than sight itself. Songs ripple through the water, woven with tones older than language. Each note is both map and memory, guiding them across oceans with unseen precision. The song of the whale is not a single voice, but a choir echoing across the deep. It is said these songs are shared, passed from one generation to the next. The whales remember what no chart records, journeys measured not in miles, but in centuries. Their routes are ancient highways, marked only by the rhythm of tide and moon. Whales move between poles and tropics, carrying stories of both ice and fire. They embody patience, traveling slowly, yet with a purpose beyond haste. In their songs, one may hear echoes of forgotten lands and vanished seas. Some believe the whales sing not only to each other, but to the ocean itself. Their voices mingle with currents, with the hum of coral, with Poseidon's silence. To listen is to hear the ocean's heartbeat, magnified through living giants. No human instrument can match the depth of a whale's call. It stretches across thousands of miles, a bridge of sound between distant hearts. Dolphins dance around them, weaving through their shadows like playful children. Even the smallest fish pause as the great songs pass through their world. The whales are guardians, though not by force, but by their steady endurance. Their presence reminds the sea of its own ancient wisdom. They carry balance simply by existing, by moving with grace and power. Legends say Poseidon entrusted whales with the memory of the deep, that their songs are keys, unlocking doors between past and present. To hear a whale sing is to step into a temple without walls. The water becomes sacred, the sound a prayer spoken without words. Each listener is changed, carried into a silence deeper than thought. The song does not demand, it invites like the tide drawing sand. Even when the whales move away, their voices linger in the currents. The ocean holds their echoes, repeating them like verses in an eternal hymn. To witness their passing is to feel small, yet embraced by something vast. Their movements remind us that size and power can walk hand in hand with peace. The whales teach that strength does not roar. It sings, It glides, it endures. As they breach, the sea explodes into light and spray, then calms again. It is a reminder that even giants return to stillness, always seeking balance. The young calves follow, imitating the songs, adding new notes to old verses. In this way, the ocean remembers not through books, but through living voices. Each generation shapes the hymn, carrying it forward into time's horizon. The whale's music is not only for survival, but for connection. It binds them to one another, and in some way, to us as well. For when we hear their song, something within us stirs, ancient and unspoken. Perhaps it is memory, or perhaps it is simply recognition of kinship. For we too are wanderers, moving through currents of time and choice. The whales remind us that journeys are not about speed, but about presence. That to sing is to leave a mark without carving, to touch without taking. As the giants vanish into blue, their hymn remains, carried in silence. Poseidon's depths echo with it, endless, eternal, calling us to listen once more. In the twilight of the ocean, light bends into shifting veils of silver and blue. It is here that bioluminescence awakens, quiet sparks in the vast cathedral of water. Tiny creatures drift like living stars, carrying lanterns within their fragile bodies. Some pulse with steady rhythm, others flicker like distant lightning in a storm. The sea becomes a night sky turned upside down, constellations woven into liquid darkness. Every shimmer tells a story, each glow a signal passed from one life to another. The anglerfish lowers its glowing lure, a beacon in the eternal midnight. Jellyfish pulse with gentle light, their bells glowing as if filled with liquid moonfire. Plankton ignite in waves, 1,000 sparks chasing the touch of current. Every gesture, every movement is painted with light that fades as quickly as it blooms. It is a secret language written not in words, but in radiant sparks. Signals of warning, whispers of attraction, silent songs of survival and wonder. Bioluminescence is the poetry of the deep, fleeting yet unforgettable. To witness it is to see the ocean dreaming in colors never seen on land. Legends say Poseidon scattered these lights as stars that slipped beneath the waves, that the heavens above and the seas below mirror one another in silence. Each glowing creature is a reminder that even in darkness, beauty thrives. The glow is not loud, it whispers gently, refusing to be ignored. Schools of fish turn in unison, their bodies flashing silver like rolling galaxies. They weave together, creating patterns too vast for the eye to follow. A ray glides past, its wings painted with faint blue fire at the edges. Every motion leaves a trail of light, as if time itself glows for a moment. These glowing paths vanish, yet their memory lingers in the stillness. The sea becomes both stage and canvas, filled with actors of silent flame. Each performance unique, never to be repeated, yet endless in its variations. It is a reminder that light does not belong only to the sun, that the ocean holds its own stars, hidden until night claims the water. The deep does not fear darkness. It transforms it into brilliance. For every shadow carries within it the possibility of light. To drift here is to move through a dream without waking. The water feels alive, pulsing with invisible lanterns waiting to be seen. Every glowing spark feels like a heartbeat in Poseidon's vast domain. The lights guide, comfort, and remind us that wonder thrives in silence. Even in the farthest depths, the ocean refuses to be empty. It fills its darkness with a beauty beyond measure, fleeting yet eternal. For in the deep, light is not wasted but shared, passed gently from one life to another. Some lights attract, some defend, Some simply exist to dazzle. Yet all remind us that life always finds a way to shine. It is not the brilliance of a sunrise, but the intimacy of a whisper. Not blinding, but tender, soft, and eternal in its quiet presence. The bioluminescent sea is a world within a world, unseen yet vital. It is Poseidon's hidden gift, a reminder that beauty does not need witness to exist. Still, for those who drift into this realm, the memory never fades. The lights imprint themselves like constellations on the soul. And long after leaving, the glow lingers in imagination, flickering in dreams. The sea teaches through these lights that even in silence, there is radiance. That darkness is not absence, but a canvas awaiting gentle fire. And as the ocean closes around you, the sparks continue, endless and true. The depths remain alive, glowing softly in Poseidon's eternal night. The trenches open like vast scars across the ocean floor, deeper than mountains are tall. Here the sun has never touched, and light is only a distant memory. The pressure is immense, yet life thrives in ways both strange and wondrous. Creatures drift like whispers, shaped by darkness into forms unseen by surface eyes. Some glow faintly, carrying their own stars in the endless black. Others move slowly, conserving energy in a place where time feels suspended. The water is colder than ice, yet the world here is alive. Hydrothermal vents rise like chimneys, breathing clouds of minerals into the sea. Around them, life blooms in defiance, thriving where it should not exist. Tube worms stretch upward, feeding not on sunlight, but on the earth's breath. Crabs scuttle across the hot stones, each step a reminder of resilience. Fish with translucent skin drift silently, their bodies as fragile as glass. This realm is not empty. It is full of secrets too delicate for daylight. The trenches are Poseidon's hidden vaults, where silence becomes a kind of truth. No storm disturbs these depths. No current stirs the ancient stillness. It is a place of patience, where ages pass unnoticed. Every stone, every grain of sand, carries the weight of forgotten time. The creatures here are keepers of mysteries older than continents. They remind us that life finds a way even in the harshest silence. Legends say the trenches are doorways, thresholds to worlds beyond our knowing. That the ocean floor is not an ending, but a passage into deeper realms. To descend here is to surrender, to let go of all familiarity. The darkness does not threaten. It embraces with a calm beyond words. It is not emptiness, but a cradle holding stories yet untold. In this abyss, Poseidon's voice is strongest, though it speaks without sound. It is a presence felt in the stillness, steady and eternal. Those who listen here feel the rhythm of the earth itself. The grinding of plates, the whisper of stone, the sigh of molten fire below. It is the heartbeat of the planet, slow, powerful, unending. The trenches are reminders that our world is deeper than sight can reach, that silence itself holds wisdom if we are willing to hear. To drift here is to step outside time into a realm beyond measure. The creatures become companions, silent guides through the endless night. Their lights flicker softly, small fires carried through eternity. Each glow is a reminder that even the smallest spark matters in the dark. The abyss does not erase, it preserves, holding memory in still waters. Perhaps Poseidon guards this place so carefully because it is his sanctuary. Here he does not rule with storms or tides, but with silence. The trenches are his temple, vast halls carved from the bones of the earth. They are filled not with echoes, but with presence too deep to name. To imagine this place is to realize how little we know of our own world. We walk on land, but most of the planet sleeps beneath these waters. And in that sleep, it dreams, slowly, endlessly, waiting to be heard. The abyss is not hostile. It is simply beyond our scale of thought. It teaches humility, reminding us that we are small yet connected. For even here in the greatest silence, the same sea surrounds us all. The trenches are not endings, but beginnings written in shadow. They hold the promise of discovery, the whisper of what lies beyond. And as you drift upward again, leaving the darkness behind, it follows. The memory of stillness, the presence of depth, the song of silence. Poseidon's trenches remain, eternal and patient, waiting for the next listener. The ocean currents are rivers within the sea, flowing unseen yet shaping every shore. They carry warmth across vast distances, weaving climates and seasons together. From the equator, streams of heat drift north and south, gifting life to colder lands. Without these hidden paths, the world above would be harsh and unbalanced. Currents are the ocean's breath, steady and eternal, moving with patience beyond measure. Some are swift, racing like winds across the surface, restless and wild. Others are deep, slow and heavy, carrying ancient water through the abyss. They are unseen roads, traveled by creatures that depend on their endless rhythm. Whales follow these paths, guided by instincts older than memory. Sea turtles drift with them, crossing oceans to return to a single shore. Plankton ride their flow, spreading life where it is most needed. The smallest and largest are united by these silent highways. Even the coral reefs depend on the gifts currents deliver. Nutrients, warmth, and seeds of life arrive in waves, unseen but vital. In this way, the ocean feeds itself, endlessly renewing its vast garden. Legends say Poseidon carved these paths with his trident, lines etched into the sea. He did not make them for power, but for balance, weaving harmony through the deep. The currents are his messengers, carrying stories across the blue expanse. Every drop of water moves with purpose, even when the eye cannot see. To float in a current is to surrender, to be carried by something greater. The water holds you gently, yet firmly, urging you onward. There is no struggle here, only trust in the flow. Currents teach us that movement does not always require force. Sometimes it is enough to let go, to drift, to listen. The sea knows where it is going, even if we do not. Every bend, every turn, has been shaped by centuries of patience. In their silence, currents remind us of the wisdom of time. They show that journeys are not always about speed, but about direction. Life itself follows this lesson, guided by invisible streams. We too are carried by forces we cannot always name. Moments, choices, encounters. These are our currents, shaping where we arrive. The sea reflects us, reminding us of what we forget on land, that surrender is not weakness, but trust in the larger rhythm. Currents bind continents, connect islands, and cradle the smallest bay. They move like veins beneath the skin of the planet, carrying life within. To imagine the ocean without them is to imagine silence without breath. Poseidon's hand rests here most gently, subtle yet undeniable. He is not thunder in this realm, but a whisper, guiding with care. The sea flows because he wills it, yet without command, only intention. Every wave that reaches shore is born of these vast rivers below. Every tide is shaped by the balance currents preserve. They are the ocean's way of keeping harmony, of ensuring no place is forgotten. And in their flow, we find lessons too profound for words. We learn that movement is not always loud, nor strength always visible. That sometimes the greatest power lies in what is unseen. To float here is to feel both small and infinite, part of something vast. The currents remind us that we are not separate from the sea. We breathe because it breathes. We live because it flows. And as the waters move on, carrying stories across the horizon, we listen. For within their silence, Poseidon speaks of balance, patience, and eternity. The coral reefs rise like underwater cities, built stone by stone from living hands. They are gardens of the sea, radiant and full of voices without sound. Every shape, every color, is a brushstroke in Poseidon's masterpiece. Here, the ocean is not silent, but humming, alive with countless small rhythms. Fish weave through branches of coral, painting the water with flashes of color. Parrotfish scrape at stone, their jaws carving music too subtle to hear. Tiny shrimp clean, darting like sparks in a web of unseen labor. Each creature has its role, each role a thread in the endless tapestry. The reef is not still. It breathes, expands, and contracts with the tide. Algae cling to coral, feeding light into stone, weaving energy from sun to sea. Without them, the reef would fade, but with them, it flourishes. It is a partnership written in silence, ancient and unbroken. Legends say Poseidon blessed these gardens as sanctuaries for life. He placed them near coasts so even mortals might glimpse his quiet wonders. Yet he made them delicate to remind us that beauty demands care. A reef cannot roar. It can only thrive or vanish depending on our choices. Every fragment of coral is a memory, carrying the story of ages. Storms may break it, time may erode it, but the reef rebuilds with patience. Creatures return, weaving again the endless cycle of growth and renewal. The reef teaches resilience, the art of bending without breaking. It shows that even fragile things can build worlds of strength. To drift through a coral reef is to wander through a dream. Light dances across the water, breaking into colors never named. Shadows bend, fish shimmer, and every corner hides new life. The reef feels infinite, though each piece is small and humble. Together, they create vast kingdoms, more complex than any city above. Currents carry food, whispers, and seeds from one reef to another. It is a network of life, unseen yet essential to all seas. Here, silence is not empty, but filled with the hum of balance. Each creature moves with purpose, no motion wasted, no presence without meaning. The reef is proof that harmony is possible, even among countless voices. It thrives not by dominance, but by connection, each part supporting the rest. Poseidon watches over these places with tenderness, not command, for he knows they are fragile, even within his vast dominion. They are his gifts of beauty, offered freely yet easily lost. And in their loss, the sea would mourn, falling quiet in sorrow. Yet when reefs thrive, the ocean sings, vibrant and alive. They are the laughter of the sea, bright and shimmering. Their colors are hope painted across the silent depths. For even in the vast blue, there is room for joy. The reef reminds us that life is not only survival, but celebration. That beauty itself is as vital as strength in the grand design. To float here is to feel surrounded by Poseidon's gentlest touch. It is to realize that the sea, though endless, holds delicate treasures. Treasures that depend not on power, but on care and respect. The reef whispers this truth to every traveler who listens, that we are part of the sea, not separate from its story. Our breath, our lives, are tied to these hidden gardens. And as you leave, the reef lingers within you, glowing like memory. It calls you to remember, to protect, to honor its fragile grace. For the coral reefs are not only Poseidon's gift, but a mirror of what we might build if we live with balance. The ocean quiets as the journey draws to its close, yet its silence is never empty. It is filled with memories, whispers of all the places we have passed. The reefs, the trenches, the glowing depths, they remain alive within us. Each part of the sea carries its own truth, a gift shared without demand. Poseidon has guided us not with thunder, but with calm and patience. His depths revealed not power through fear, but strength through stillness. The ocean is vast, yet it does not overwhelm when we choose to listen. It invites us to slow down, to feel its rhythm, to accept its embrace. Every current that touched us carried meaning, though we may not see it. Every shimmer of light, every shadow, whispered a secret to be kept. The sea does not speak in words, yet its voice is steady and clear. It reminds us that silence is not absence, but presence unbroken. That stillness itself can be a teacher, shaping us more deeply than noise. To leave the depths is not to forget them, for they follow in memory. The glow of bioluminescence lingers like stars within the heart. The slow patience of the trenches stays as a weight of calm. The laughter of reefs, bright and colorful, echoes like a song within. The endless rivers of currents remind us of movement without struggle. Each part of the sea is now part of us, woven into our own story. For the ocean is not apart from us. It is a mirror of our lives. It flows through our veins in every drop of water we carry. It shapes the air we breathe, the rhythm of the world we call home. To know the sea is to know ourselves more deeply than before. Poseidon's gift is not dominion, but remembrance of connection, that we belong not above the waters, but within them, always tied. The silent depths are never far, even when we stand on land. For silence itself can recall the sea, if we let it. A breath, a pause, a moment of stillness can open the door again. The journey reminds us that wonder is never lost, only hidden. That beauty thrives even where eyes cannot reach. That life persists even in the deepest shadows of the world. The sea does not end at the horizon. It continues within imagination. Poseidon waits not as a figure of myth, but as presence in silence. He asks nothing but that we listen, respect, and remember. For the ocean is fragile as much as it is infinite. Its treasures cannot roar for attention. They can only fade if ignored. And so the ending becomes a beginning, a call to hold the sea gently, to carry its stories, its lessons, into every choice we make, to live not apart from nature, but as part of its endless tide. As we rise from the depths, light returns, bright and familiar. Yet the silence of Poseidon lingers, soft as a shadow at our side. It will walk with us, steady as the tide, patient as the waves. For journeys do not end where the surface breaks. They continue within. The ocean is eternal, and so too are its whispers. Close your eyes, even far from shore, and you will hear them. The hum of currents, the pulse of light, the breath of trenches. They remind you that you are never truly apart from the sea, that its vastness is also your vastness, its silence also your silence. And so, as the last wave of this tale falls away, listen once more. Listen to the stillness, and let it remind you of where you belong. For in the silent depths of Poseidon, the story never truly ends.